All right, hello. Welcome to the final session of TechCon. Appreciate everybody joining us. Glad you're still here. And as March Madness is just starting with the first four, we had our final four today for TechCon, but we are rolling with the changes, and our business partner speaker had a family emergency. So I'm happy to welcome one of our AI Ops product managers, Warren Zhao, and he will be talking about beyond the silo, so talking about how you can pull together IT ops along with cybersecurity and observability, and we appreciate him being here. So if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. Warren is here to talk with you, answer questions, and make sure that everything that you want to hear, we can answer. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Warren and let him start the presentation. Thanks for being here.
Great. Thank you so much, Peggy. And thank you everyone for joining me. Really excited to share my insights on the IT automation portfolio, especially from the perspective of a product manager on the AI Ops team, and how we can think about breaking down the silos that realistically exist in a lot of modern enterprises today. I want to start the discussion by posing a question to you. And I want you to think back to the last major incident that occurred in your enterprise. How many teams or people were involved in investigating the problem? Were all of them necessarily needed in the loop? How many tools did they use to understand the scope and causes of the outage? What percentage of those events received by your teams were noise versus something actionable? Did you find that your team spent a lot of time trying to identify the root cause of incidents rather than resolving them? Were there so many different tools and dashboards being used, which made it difficult to get a clear picture of what was happening? Was the dynamic anything like a well-oiled F1 team, where you had some constructive practice in place? Did your teams and individuals know their respective roles and how they could best contribute to resolving the incident? Was communication clear with everyone on the same page? Were incidents resolved quickly and efficiently with minimal downtime and impact on the business? And were teams able to work together seamlessly without finger pointing or blame shifting? Let's be realistic. Most incident management scenarios are not like well-trained F1 teams. Incident management often involves finger pointing, no one knowing the cause, with blame being passed around. If you're in IT operations, I'm sure you can identify with being on bridge calls where you have several teams involved and everyone is on there trying to figure out what is going on, with lots of tension, lots of stress, causing the overall organization to spend a lot of time and money. And it's inefficient, costly, and frustrating despite all that effort. Each team uses their own tools and dashboards, leading to conflicting information and a lack of clarity. The teams probably spend hours trying to identify the root cause of the incident, with each team pointing fingers at the others. And even when the incident is resolved, there's probably been significant downtime and impact on the business. There's a research figure shared on the chart here about how there's studies showcasing that a single hour of downtime can cost $300,000 US. I mean, just think about the implications of that in terms of cost. So I want this to be an opportunity for you to share your thoughts and see if any of these points resonate with you. So I'll give 4 options, and I'd appreciate the audience's input on if any of these accurately describe the current state of collaboration between your IT teams. So are there silos, as have been described in the previous slides, with minimal cross-team communication? Is there collaboration, but it's still mostly driven by reactions to incidents? Is there coordination between the team on a consistent basis, but the tools and processes themselves are in silos? Or do you have a genuinely mature practice where your teams are integrated and they're aligned on both strategy and tools? So I want to give a few moments for folks to respond. So, Peggy, please do let me know when there may be some responses coming in.
Okay, we do see some responses, and some of them, unfortunately, some of the places are hostile and competitive. So I think definitely some silos to deal with.
Right. Yeah. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, really validating some of the points of the cultural dynamics and frustrations at play, right? So I'll be talking about some of the catalysts for why there are these sorts of industry dynamics, why there are these organization silos, and potential approaches that your teams can consider to better address them effectively. So let's start with an understanding of the connected nature of enterprises today, right? Modern IT environments are very complex. They span on-premises infrastructure. So these involve your traditional data centers, networks, IT systems, applications. You have your cloud environments. You can have public or private infrastructure, or as is a lot of the case in modern enterprises, a hybrid approach, a combination of public and private infrastructure based on your organization's needs. You could have operational technology in place, things like industrial control systems, sensors, devices that are critical to business operations. And then you have edge devices. These could be Internet of Things devices, gateways, and other equipment that are generating vast amounts of data and they require real-time processing. So there's all these different layers, and I just told you they're interconnected. So how can it be that there are silos? The reality is that there are different teams and departments responsible for managing different aspects of the IT environment. Right? On the chart, there's a representation of IT ops teams dealing with data center, net ops teams dealing with the network infrastructure, and so on. So this sort of structure results in limited visibility into the overall health and performance of the enterprise at large. Many of these teams still use manual processes. There could be redundant efforts. There's a lack of automation. And this leads to subsequent increased risk where there's security vulnerabilities, downtime, and data breaches due to this lack of coordination and visibility. Enterprises are really looking to products that can unify their operations across these inevitable silos. This means that they're looking for solutions that can integrate these disparate systems, so bring together that data from on-premises, cloud, operational, and edge devices, give that single view of the enterprise, enabling real-time monitoring and management. With that view, you're better equipped to streamline operations, reduce manual effort, improve efficiency, and subsequently enhance your security posture. You can identify and mitigate risks across your environment. You can ensure that your valuable enterprise assets are available to provide the services your users expect. By doing so, your teams are now able to focus on the strategic initiatives rather than spending a lot of time and effort keeping the lights on. Moreover, the complexity just continues to grow. There's a mix of legacy and modern systems, applications, and infrastructure. This is caused by the reality of organizations relying on applications that could be decades old. But these are mission-critical ones. They form the backbone of a company's operations. They may be using code-base languages where none of the current workforce has expertise in. And any sort of attempt to try to transition that into a more modern architecture or language carries a lot of risk. So many organizations don't want to take that risk. They don't want their operations to be disrupted without knowing how to fix it. And they continue to use these systems. Even if the company decides to try to modernize, the stats are that a lot of modernization efforts don't work out. On the slide here, I have a statistic of 74% of these modernization projects aren't able to fully execute and achieve the outcomes that they're looking for. So this results in the patchwork of old and new systems in the same environment. So with this hybrid environment, you have these legacy systems and operational stacks that have to play nice with the modern systems and tools. And with each layer of the product platform that has been built up over time, you may have specific tools pointing at particular pieces that are used to manage respective different parts of the environment. Integration and interoperability challenges arise because, candidly, the old and the new aren't going to play nice together a lot of the time. So it makes it even more difficult to get a unified view of the enterprise. So again, this is where the value of modern unified operation solution introduces value. It bridges the gaps between legacy and modern systems, reducing the complexity of customers' hybrid environments and improving visibility. There are opportunities to integrate these multiple monitoring tools and platform, and teams have a single view. So I want to take another moment here to ask for your input again. Do any of these challenges resonate with you? If you had to pick one, what might you say is the biggest challenge your team faces today? Is it that there are lots of disconnected tools, which causes confusion and inefficiency? Is it that your ops teams are overwhelmed by security and compliance work streams? Do they not have real-time visibility into system health and performance? Or is it that there's difficulty aligning with other teams, which leads to duplicated efforts? Please indicate what may resonate most with you in the chat or in the poll.
Lauren, there is one comment here. It says sometimes companies attempt to modernize, but they don't have sufficient training. so people don't always know how to use the new solution.
Yeah, definitely. Right. It's not just the technology itself, it's building a culture of learning and continuous education. Yeah. Okay, so I think all of these are likely pieces of the overall bigger issue that folks face. And so over the next set of charts, I'll cover some IBM approaches that could be really helpful to mitigate some of these challenges in your operations, day-to-day, week-to-week activities. So this diagram looks chaotic, right? The idea is not for you to try to zoom in and figure out what each box says and how they fit within the ecosystem, but it is an illustration of the fragmented nature of lots of modern IT enterprise environments, where each component could be doing different things, but they're not necessarily marching toward a common goal. There could be multiple monitoring tools, each with its own siloed view, and each generating a large volume of alerts and notifications. I apologize for my connection issues. I'll just reiterate the last point. I was mentioning that there could be disparate systems and applications that operate in isolation, which offers limited scope of visibility and control. There could be manual processes in place, of course, prone to human errors and inefficiencies, leading to those delays and downtime. And that lack of automation means that a lot of valuable resources and time is consumed that otherwise wouldn't need to be. The downstream implications are inefficient incident management, where that graphic I displayed earlier is the reality, with finger pointing, delays, multiple teams and tools providing conflicting information. There's limited visibility, where there's a lack of that unified view that is so desirable. You don't know what issues may have tangentially affected something else. And you have longer resolution times, which means increased downtime and increased negative business impact. And this is where I'd like to introduce AIOps. The term AIOps itself can be understood as a discipline that combines software solutions with those cultural practices that are really important, right? That one of the audience members spoke to help IT operations teams overcome the challenges of fragmented systems. So through the unified operations lens, AIOps can help integrate these disparate systems. So we see the right-hand side of the diagram with all those different subcomponents feeding their data into Cloud Pak for AIOps. Cloud Pak for AIOps brings together these tools and systems. It gives that cohesive view. There are components that can streamline workflows, reduce the risk of human error, freeing up resources for the more value-add strategic initiatives. IT teams have recommendations for issues to pursue first, which ones are the ones to prioritize, and how could they best reduce their downtime. And there's also the ability to take a more proactive stance in terms Again, sorry for the internet issues. I was touching on the proactive management stance that users can realize by leveraging the predictive analytics and machine learning capabilities, which allows IT teams to anticipate and prevent issues before they occur, rather than purely being reactive. So I can speak to a case study scenario of what a bank, for example, could realize through the benefits of Cloud Pak for AIOps. They would be able to unify operations across their on-premises infrastructure, which includes networks, data centers, and connected devices such as ATMs, employee terminals, and thin client devices. If they integrate with monitoring tools such as Instana by IBM for their application performance monitoring needs, or they utilize Step 1 for their network performance monitoring needs, they're able to get that cohesive view across the enterprise, and within that view, have critical infrastructure like storage devices from EMC and physical data center components all accounted for. There are automated processes and workflows which streamline their incident management and remediation, reducing downtime and improving efficiency, such as automatically identifying the root cause of an outage and routing issues to the correct team, whether it's something for the IT, network, or infrastructure teams, respectively, to address. So the bank is now able to manage their operations holistically, improving efficiency and reducing downtime across their interconnected ecosystem, resulting in improved customer satisfaction and reduced business impact. So I want to dive a bit deeper into how exactly what's under the hood in Cloud Pak for AIOps enables all those outcomes that I spoke to. Right? In the mission to achieve unified operations, both the algorithms themselves and the humans in the loop play a push and pull, a yin and yang, in making that vision a reality. By combining the strengths of both, there could be the creation of a powerful feedback loop that enables end-to-end visibility, collaboration mechanisms, and insight-driven decision-making. Human-in-the-loop feedback is essential because it allows AIOps to validate and refine the insights surfaced by these algorithms. There's a wide variety of personas that can provide their input, whether you have IT operators, network engineers, developers, non-technical business stakeholders. AIOps ensures that the unified operations platform is tailored to the needs of particular teams and aligned with the broader organization's goals. The algorithms do provide a foundation enabling AIOps to collect and analyze data from diverse sources, including the wide array of IT systems, networks, and infrastructure I surfaced earlier. They're able to identify those patterns and anomalies, right, to give that proactive stance on potential issues or opportunities for improvement, and then giving those predictive insights that could prevent downtime. So this is a virtuous cycle of insight and improvement that results. And as more feedback is fed into AIOps, it refines its models, the accuracy of predictions improves, there's identification of new areas for improvement, teams can prioritize their efforts accordingly, and teams can minimize downtime and maximize efficiency. They can get this end-to-end visibility, collaboration, and insight-driven decision-making, achieving outcomes such as reduced mean time to detect an issue going on at all, mean time to resolve that issue, improved incident and change management, because change is inevitable in a modern IT environment, increased efficiency and productivity across teams, and ultimately, connection and alignment between IT and business goals instead of being at odds with one another. So this leads into how data ingest is the first step of unified operations. Whether you use Instana for APM, SAM1 for NPM, or you have ServiceNow for your IT service management workflows, you have log aggregators such as Elasticsearch or Splunk. You may have metric data that you want to feed from your on-premises devices, configuration data from various IT systems with different modes of deployment. That data creates a comprehensive view of the IT environment, including applications, networks, infrastructure, and services. And once the data is ingested, AIOps applies contextualization techniques to add meaning and relevance to that data. This means creating a visual topological representation of the IT environment using nodes and edges to indicate the relationships between components and systems. Users have the ability to combine topologies across different teams' environments. So there could be multiple research groups that are constituents of a broader application, and teams can stitch those together to create that more unified view. Users are able to add context to the data based on the organization's specific needs, goals, and industry standards. You can leverage your team's years, if not decades, of domain-specific knowledge and expertise to create that virtuous feedback loop. And the contextualization enables AIOps to better understand the IT environment and identify potential issues and areas for improvement. AIOps then generates actionable insights from the contextualized data. So there are capabilities such as anomaly detection, which are specific about identifying out of bounds or unusual patterns of behavior in the data. There could be a lot of filtering out of irrelevant or unnecessary data to focus on the most critical issues, i.e. noise reduction, which I'll dive into deeper in just a bit. And that topological representation I just spoke to, it's a dynamic one that is consistently updated at consistent intervals. So you have a modern representation rather than a static view of the relationships between components and systems to understand how issues may be impacting the business. So these capabilities enable AIOps to understand what to do next, including identifying potential issues, prioritizing incidents, and determining the best course of action. With these actionable insights in hand, AIOps is able to automate many of the tasks and processes involved in incident management and problem resolution. So you could run Ansible playbooks. You might have certain repetitive tasks and processes that don't need human confirmation that are automated. And you can use a combination of automated and manual steps. Perhaps there are sort of device configurations that you don't want any sort of automated running or any sort of risk of negative downstream effects because some scripts ran something. So you can specify for those runbooks to have that mix to streamline the time and efficiency where it most makes sense based on your organization's practices. And subsequently, AIOps can prioritize incidents based on their impact and urgency, helping your team to understand which are the critical ones to address first. So this automation enables AIOps to respond quickly and effectively to incidents. And finally, we can reach the ideal nirvana state of unified operations, where those aspects of the IT environment are a single cohesive entity. Teams have visibility into the IT environment overall, whether that be applications, networks, infrastructure, or services. There's reduced volume support tickets, which improves the overall efficiency of the IT organization. The reduced time to detect enables those teams to respond quickly and effectively. And IT teams can work together more effectively rather than being combative. They can share knowledge and expertise to improve the overall quality of service. Now, let's double click on the noise reduction aspect I alluded to in the previous chart, because I do think this is one of the biggest value propositions of leveraging AIOps. Because noise is a major obstacle to efficient operations. If you have duplicate or irrelevant events, you're burdening your already overwhelmed IT teams even further. They don't know which ones are the real issues they need to respond to. So the first step that AIOps takes when events come in from your various systems is those duplicate or irrelevant ones are filtered out. Only unique and relevant events are presented to IT teams, reducing the overall volume of data. The next step, once those duplicate or irrelevant events are removed, the deduplicated events are analyzed and grouped using 3 AI algorithms that I'll cover here. So one is temporal grouping, where if the alerts co-occur over time, the algorithm can flag patterns and correlations that indicate a larger issue. There's topological grouping, where if there are alerts that belong to common research groups, for example, within a given Kubernetes namespace, that could be indicative of issues that are related to a specific application or service. And then there's scope-based grouping. So this could be multiple attributes or dimensions of commonality. For example, common server room location and time period. And this indicates issues that are related to a specific geographic location or time of day. And then the third, biggest value add step, and certainly the biggest evolution from previous iterations of IBM event management solutions, for example, Netcool, is that the output of this AI-driven grouping and analysis is fed further context. So there are impact analytics that provide insight into the downstream effects of the incident. What are the other systems, services, and users that they're affecting? And what are some steps you could do to make the situation less problematic? So these noise reduction capabilities enable IT teams to quickly identify and respond to real issues, reduce that time to detect and resolve problems, and improve the overall IT efficiency and effectiveness. So let's take a chance here to hear more from you. I talked a lot about tool sprawl, silos of tools, but many organizations are still looking to evolve their practices. They're still looking to fill gaps of capabilities that their teams are just not equipped to handle. So again, I will present 4 options. I'd like you to please indicate which one may most resonate with you in terms of what you're looking for as you consider potential solutions to evolve your IT practice. Is it that your teams lack real-time observability and visibility into IT operations? Do you lack insights on cybersecurity and a lack of ability to detect threats? Do you lack integration across your tools and operational teams? Or are you looking for more automation? There's just a lot of manual workloads and errors that perhaps some runbooks or scripts could help you with. Please do indicate in the chat or poll. I can't view the responses quite yet, but if you did provide input, I want to thank you again. But every organization has some permutation or some aspect of each one of these pillars. So any sort of tools and ecosystems to help you address those. I hope some of the insights I presented today can help you understand how IBM AIOps in particular can help with a lot of this. But let's try to synthesize some takeaways, right? So the value of Cloud Platform for AIOps is that it is a comprehensive AI-powered platform that can really transform your IT operations management. It offers a unified interface that consolidates alerts from multiple monitoring tools, such as Splunk, AppDynamics, and New Relic. With IBM Cloud Platform for AIOps, teams gain a centralized view of incidents with actionable insights, rather than being overwhelmed by alert noise. This enables IT teams to quickly identify and respond to issues, reducing the time to detect and resolve problems. But that's not all, because IBM Cloud Platform for AIOps provides automatic topology stitching across environments, whether it's on-premises, cloud, or hybrid. This means that teams can see the impact of incidents on services and applications, including downstream effects on critical applications. For instance, if there's a switch or router that fails, or if a database configuration is changed, AIOps is able to highlight the potential consequences on dependent applications. AIOps also utilizes advanced AI and machine learning algorithms to detect anomalies in metrics and logs. IT teams are able to identify subtle patterns that may have escaped human operators, predicting potential failures before they escalate to something much worse. So by leveraging these AI-driven anomaly detection algorithms, teams are able to proactively manage their operations, reduce the risk of downtime, and improve their system resilience. But AIOps goes just beyond detection. There's the offering of proactive recommendations to resolve issues quickly, enabling teams to act on insights immediately. There are automated workflows offered, which reduce mean time to resolution, ensuring that IT teams can respond rapidly to incidents and minimize their impact. But the best part is that IBM Cloud Platform for AIOps provides seamless integration with your existing tools. So if you're a Netcool user, if you've been using products like IBM Instana or IBM Turbonomic, you can upgrade your operations with these AI-driven features, enhancing your observability and your resource optimization. So if you're evolving from your Netcool infrastructure and you want to modernize your operations, or you're an APM user that wants the benefits of more advanced event correlation, IBM Cloud Pak AIOps can help you. By leveraging the cutting edge capabilities of the Cloud Pak, your teams can proactively manage your operations, optimize resources, and deliver better services to the business and its subsequent customers. Now, I do want to take a moment to speak to other products you may hear about throughout TechCon 2025, other IBM conferences, or perhaps other marketing material. And at first glance, they may seem to have very similar capabilities to AIOps. So I do want to differentiate a bit and speak to when it's appropriate to pick one solution versus the other. The first I want to focus on is IBM Concert, which was announced at Think 2024 in May last year. And Concert is designed to address the end-to-end application lifecycle. This means security compliance, uptime and availability, and quality metrics from development tools like SonarQube. It looks to unify data across development, testing, security, availability. And by doing so, the goal is to provide that holistic view of an application's health. The primary audience are more operations executives and CIOs. They may focus on long-term compliance and prioritization rather than dealing with real-time data. So, for instance, a pooled view of their CVE data, publicly known common vulnerabilities, helps them to prioritize fixes with development or operations teams so that they can maintain compliance. So Concert provides that summary view and roll-up insights without that dive into more granular data. So both IBM Concert and IBM Cloud Pak for AIOps leverage advanced AI technologies to improve their IT operations, but their focus areas are pretty different. So Concert is about unified views of the application health with an emphasis on compliance and resilience from a cybersecurity perspective. But Cloud Pak for AIOps is built for practitioners who need to be able to manage real-time incidents in complex IT environments, especially from the perspective of automation and rapid problem resolution. I also do want to touch on the nature of application performance monitoring tools and how they fit in this discussion. In doing your research, you may come across material describing Instana or other vendors such as AppDynamics or Dynatrace that would indicate they include a lot of the capabilities in AIOps that I just spoke to. But there's limitations in each of these tools. Specifically, APM tools provide isolated views of individual applications. So you don't have that broader enterprise ecosystem and interconnectedness of resources and services at a glance. You might not have necessary insights for the executives to make informed decisions, versus how with AIOps, you have the ability to integrate a broader range of data sources. So that's structured and unstructured data from those monitoring tools, logs, events. You have that holistic analysis and incident management. APM tools like Instana certainly can provide valuable insights into application performance, but Cloud Pak for AIOps leverages its AI capabilities to not only detect incidents, but also predict potential issues, automate root cause analysis, and recommend or execute those remediation actions, thereby enhancing your overall proactive operational resilience. So to illustrate that more concretely, here is a sample diagram of how Cloud Vector AIOps can be integrated within a broader ecosystem. So, for example, if you want to pipe in Instana data, right, with Instana being IBM's observability platform, delivering real-time insights into application performance, when you integrate that with Cloud Vector AIOps, you can get continuous monitoring of those applications and that rapid detection, ensuring that the application metrics and events are contextualized within the broader IT operations framework, facilitating that proactive incident management. You can see an arrow, a longer one, between SEV1 and Cloud Vector AIOps. And so by feeding in that network performance monitoring data, you have that comprehensive visibility into network health and performance metrics. So your organization could correlate network performance data with application and infrastructure metrics, leading to that holistic understanding of IT operations. So your teams can be assisted in identifying network-related anomalies that could impact application performance, thereby enhancing overall service reliability. Well, let's say you have some bespoke systems and you want to feed that data into Cloud Vector AIOps. So AIOps is architected with flexibility in mind. So you can ingest custom events, metrics, and topology data from different sources, enriching AIOps AI-driven insights. IBM provides an integration SDK where an out-of-the-box integration isn't available. So organizations can tailor data ingestion processes to their unique environments. And let's say you want to leverage some of the other tools referenced on this diagram where there isn't a particular arrow connecting to Cloud Vector AIOps right now. But AIOps fits within the broader IT and business objectives, right? So you have Turbonomic, which optimizes application resource management by ensuring applications receive the necessary resources dynamically, thereby enhancing performance and efficiency. You might have a software asset management tool like Flexera in place, which helps you to optimize software investments and ensure compliance. You might have Apptio, which offers financial management capabilities, enabling organizations to align IT spending with business outcomes effectively. And you may have heard of the recent acquisition of KubeCost, which delivers cost monitoring and management for Kubernetes environments, allowing for teams to precisely track resource utilization and associated costs. So Cloud Vector AIOps can serve as a central hub that integrates with critical tools like SEV1 from an NPM perspective and Instana from an APM perspective, as well as whatever multitude of data sources and management tools are in your estate. So you can achieve that unified AI-driven approach to IT operations, enhancing your broader posture of observability, performance management, and operational efficiency. So let's try to tie all these threads together. When does it make sense to pick one tool versus another? So with Cloud Vector AIOps, pick it if you need real-time incident correlation and management, because it helps you identify and address the root cause of issues in real time using those analytics and automation. It's able to take events from multiple sources, it performs event correlation, and it determines those probable causes to facilitate those rapid incident resolution workflows. The target audience are those IT practitioners and operators. who need to manage real-time incidents and perform root cause analysis. The concert, if you need to improve your resilience posture. So do you need to understand the vulnerabilities across your application estate? Do you need to understand mean time to repair and cost data so that you have some data you can share with executives? And if you're an operations executive who needs to assess and solve problems related to that resilience and reliability, Concert could be the appropriate solution for you. And when does it make sense to use APM tools? Well, APM focuses on monitoring application performance, tracking incidents, and setting service level objectives. They do provide real-time performance data, but many times they don't have the same depth of event correlation and probable cause analysis as solutions like Cloud Pak for AIOps. The audience is really IT practitioners and developers who need to monitor and optimize their application performance. Really consider the target audience for each solution and think about the best one that aligns with your organization's needs. So how do you get started? Please take some time to connect with your IBM representative. They'd be happy to explain the IBM AIOps portfolio in more depth. If there's any particular aspects of AIOps that you found interesting in the charts today, inquire about it, and the relevant subject matter expert will be happy to conduct a session with you, whether that's discovery or design thinking sessions to uncover the art of the possible, whether to think through how to best integrate it with your existing tools and systems. IBM teams can help you every step of the way. So with that, I would like to thank you for spending the last 50 minutes with me and for listening to what AIOps can do for your organization. I do want to open up the floor to any general questions the audience may have.
Hey, Warren, thank you for the presentation. Very detailed. Appreciate all of your information provided there. I'm just going to give it a minute. If anyone has a question, if you could drop it in the chat, we can ask Warren right now. And appreciate your responses to some of those polls. I know the delay made it maybe a little bit hard to get the responses quickly, but great to hear from everyone. I'm not seeing a question right now, Warren, but
Okay.
you know, want to invite everyone to keep the conversation going, join a Tech Exchange community to keep up to date on what's happening with our AIOps products. And then also we have the office hours happening at 2:30 today. So if you want to just talk to Warren or any of the speakers from today, you can join that and ask questions, or even just celebrate that we are at the end of TechCon. And I hope that you've learned a lot. I really want to thank everyone for joining us. Hopefully this was useful and you were able to get some of your questions answered and learn about some of our new offerings coming. Make sure that you do take the poll before you leave. It'll be on the lower left corner, and that's for feedback. We want to make sure we continue to improve TechCon as we go forward over the years. So make sure you take that poll, join us for office hours, and please reach out if you have any questions. Hope that you've had a great time over the past 3 days. It's been really nice being with you, and I've enjoyed being your host today. So thanks for joining the Infrastructure, Automation, and Security track.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.